What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 221, and we start today's episode off with a game against Derby County here away at Pride Park, and this was just before transfer deadline day, so this is the last chance for the players in the squad to impress me and show that they should stay in the club and not be forced out, and also for me to look at the players and think maybe I should sign one more player. But of course we've only got a few £1,000,000 left now. Any signature we make will be a very low rated player, but it's always worth thinking about. We take on Derby anyway for the first game of today's episode, and Derby currently sitting bottom of the table. They're a newly promoted side. They've lost Will Hughes as well. They've really not got too many players in there which you'd say are going to be good enough to cause much of a threat in this league. That is why they are sitting bottom of the table. However, the first chance would fall here, and I got very lucky here. Liali, as I passed the ball backwards, it almost went underneath his foot, Peter Enkelman style, and into the back of the net, but thankfully I just about managed to recover the situation. We'd have to wait until the 45th minute for a first chance for our own nose. Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down the left-hand side. The former Arsenal man keeps on going for a nice little Berber spin, sees him get inside, keeps on going, plays it inside towards Polo, making his debut, but unfortunately the big money striker can't find a target, and it goes wide and out for a goal kick. And on the hour mark here, you see Derby come forward. It was Hamad who got onto it, played it inside towards Johnny Russell, and Russell did have the ball in the back of the net, but thankfully for us, the offside flag was raised, and it was still scoreless, and he was indeed offside. But as you can see by the stats, this was just before the end of the game. Only 2 shots in the entire game. They both came to us. 0 shots on target, and that was how the game finished. And I have to say, I've had some terrible games on Career Mode. I've had some terrible games on FIFA in general. This was the worst game I've ever played in my entire life. Not because I played badly or anything. I couldn't do a single thing. I couldn't pass the ball. I couldn't create space. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck in the middle of the park, and the game finished 0-0. Completely embarrassing, but I just couldn't do a single thing in that game. And it was then time for transfer deadline day, but as I just said there, I had literally nothing to do. £6,000,000 left in the transfer budget. I did take a look at the Chelsea goalkeeper I mentioned a few episodes ago, who looks like a new gen or a regen. He's certainly not a real player anyway. The Italian goalkeeper, 26 years old, 87 overall, valued at £9,000,000. I thought I'd just see if Chelsea would give us an inquiry and give us a counter offer, but instead they just said they're not going to sell him. And I said, fine, I don't really care, to be honest. I'm perfectly happy with Liali. He's a perfectly fine goalkeeper, and I would like to get that guy in maybe next year, but we'll have to wait and see. But as I was running the clock down as quickly as possible, I had no plans to do anything. A bid came in for Matthew Wilkinson. I said to Juventus, give us £60,000,000, you can take him. Obviously that wasn't going to happen, but even so, can you imagine selling our reserve centre-back combination for £129,000,000? That's crazy, but even so, Juventus said no, and that's perfectly fine with me. So the clock was running down, and I had players on the loan list, I had players on the transfer list, but nothing happened. And that's just, the transfer side or Career Mode. It's just so ridiculous, it really is. I just couldn't sell or loan any players. I had Baker on the transfer list, I had I think Spearing's on the transfer list, and of course all my academy products as well, and a couple of the new players I picked up during the January transfer window as backup players such as Howell and McGlashan, but not a single bid came in for them. And as you can see, in January transfer window, we made £69,000,000 profit, and we spent 57.75 million. So it was a very, very eventful January transfer window, and that's surprising because that never really happens in my Career Modes. I usually, wait until the summer to do all my business when I know I've got a clear budget set, instead of sort of just selling and buying in January. I never really like to do that, but this time I bit the bullet and did decide to sell one of my big players in Kevin Bartley, and then of course I signed a couple of very good players as well. So it was a really interesting January transfer window. The first time in a while I've really sort of made loads of significant changes to the side, but even so, I'm happy with what we did. Now I know there were quite a few people that did say that I shouldn't have sold Bartley for any money really, because he is an awesome centre back, but to be honest, I just thought, it's as a player, I don't really see the point, because he's not really going to get into the first 11 that often. He's always going to be on the bench because of Eric Dier and Leao Gutierrez. It will take him 2 to 3 years before I really do before I would put him into the centre back area in place of Eric Dier when he finally starts to decrease in stats. But that's a long time away, and you know, for him to just sit on the bench, I may as well cash in on him now, you know. And I don't particularly want to move Eric Dier to CDM either, like quite a few of you suggested. I could push Eric Dier up and play holding mid and then put Bartley or Gutierrez at the back. I prefer the centre-back partnership as Gutierrez and Dier because they work really well together. But anyway, here is a squad report, guys. You just saw the league table there. Here's a squad report. You can check out how the players are doing, what the squad now looks like, and yeah, of course, I did say I was trying to sell Baker. He's now decreasing in stats, but I can't seem to shift him on. Catamol will retire at the end of the year, most likely, and you know, for next year, I'll hope to loan out some of those players, such as McGlashan and my academy products as well, and how. But other than that, the squad will stay like this until the summer anyway, and we can just see how the players develop for these next 6 months, and we'll wait and see what we want to do next year with the team. But it is looking really good, you know. For next year, let's say we get a budget of about 50 million. I'm not really sure where we'd even look to begin spending, to be honest. It's just such a really awesome side. It really is. I'm just enjoying it. What can I say? I'm really glad I'm back here at the Den, and in the second season I'm just having a lot of fun with this team. But anyway, Chile came in for us after that and said, will you manage our nation again? They said that they enjoyed us managing them many years ago, but we just said no because we've done it before, and I'm not really interested in doing it again. And also we had a scouting update here, but I went past this really quickly because you can see by the players they're all very basic. I think I signed one and just I signed one there, and then I just sort of rejected a few and left the scouting on the others because I don't mean to keep going on about it, I don't mean to keep going on about it like a broken record. But of course, this year, for anyone who watched my FIFA 13 career mode and really enjoyed the academy side of it, I'm sorry that I can't really do that again. But that's just one of those things. But anyway, we take on Stoke City here for the second and final game of today's episode, looking to bounce back after a very disappointing away draw at Pride Park. And as you would have seen, they are rock bottom with only 12 points. How I failed to get a win in that game, I do not know. So we really did need to bounce back here against Stoke at the Den. And the first chance would fall in the 8th minute here as Gutierrez wins us the ball and gives it to his Brazilian teammate Kelvin. He plays a quick 1-2 with Oscar Polo, making his home debut in this game. And as Kelvin runs down the right hand side, I spotted a runner Polo into the box, picked him out, and the Colombian gets his first goal for Millwall on his home debut, his second game for the club in total. And maybe that's a sight we'll see for many years to come, because I definitely want to keep this guy as my first choice striker. He is just looking like an absolute animal, and his stats, you know, are just incredible, and I really hope he is going to be our first choice striker for years to come. It seemed like a really easy finish, but I thought I completely overcooked the shot. I thought I put way too much power on it, but thankfully I didn't. It just smashed into the roof of the net through two Stoke defenders sliding in and the goalkeeper as well. So Oscar Polo gets his first goal for the club. Very good finish there, and it is indeed Millwall 1 at Stoke City 0. The perfect start after such a disappointing draw away at Derby. And in the 41st minute, he see our former left back give the ball away. It comes to Polo. Polo finds Suso, but unfortunately Dalbello makes a really good save, and the Stoke keeper pushes it behind for a corner just before half time. But from that corner, João Cancelo crosses the ball in. Gutierrez wins the header. Well, I think it might have been Eric Dier actually won the header, and it went wide of the post and out for a goal kick. But in the 50th minute here, Stoke give the ball away once again as Suso finds Oscar Polo through the centre. Nice little scoop turn here, then a nice little McGeady spin, runs down the right hand side, ends up stopping the ball with the fake Rabona, then the Blanco hop, and he shoots on the half volley. It's blocked by Flanagan, but thankfully it falls straight to Suso, and Suso pops it in to make it 2-0. So that would have been a lovely goal by Oscar Polo. I've got to love those 5-star skills, but unfortunately the block was made, but it went into the back of the net eventually by Suso. That's the main thing. So 2-0, and he was looking really bright. And in the 57th minute, he plays a 1-2 with a man with no legs, Scott Triggs. He then lets fly with a half volley from a mile out, but it goes over the bar and out for a goal kick. I was just trying everything with the guy. I really wanted him to get a couple of goals in this game, and I was glad he already had one. And in the 67th minute here, you see Taylor get on the ball for Stoke. He rolls it through down the right hand side towards Ince. Ince crosses the ball in. Johansson goes for the header. It's cleared away. Taylor pops it back in, and Johansson gets the goal to make it 2-1. So Stoke back in the game. That was pretty much their first shot in the entire game, yet they scored from it. Very frustrating. I have to say, Liali probably could have done a little bit better in my opinion, but he didn't. And it is 2-1. But in the 81st minute here, Scott Triggs almost makes it 3-1 and restores the 2-goal cushion, but the goalkeeper makes a good save, and Stoke Stoke managed to get the ball away there as Oxlade-Chamberlain tries to put it back in. It falls to Shaw. Shaw finds Oscar Polo. Nice little back heel, and the shot is well saved once again by Dalbello to deny Suso, I think it was. So still 2-1, but from the corner, Carrasco crosses the ball in. Eric Dier wins the header. It's well saved. Then his follow-up shot hits the bar, but it falls to that man, Oscar Polo, the £30 million man, makes it 3-1, and the game is now put beyond reasonable doubt. We are going to collect the 3 points here and bounce back from that disappointing game against Derby. 3-1, Oscar Polo gets his second goal of the game. Very simple, but still glad to score it. And in the 91st minute here from a corner, Carrasco crosses the ball in. Stoke failed to deal with it. Eric Dier hit the deck. Yeah, he got back on his feet quickly and then heads the ball in. So Millwall 4, Stoke 1. Eric Dier completes the route. And as you'll see here, that was basically the last kick of the game, or last head of the game, if you will. It was the last header, but still the last incident it was. It was straight from kick-off. The referee blows for full time. And it does end Millwall 4, Stoke 1. So glad to get a big win after bouncing back from that disappointing draw away at Derby. And a very impressive home debut from that man, Oscar Polo. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, because it's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.